Hi, I'm Liz Cully, and welcome back to Cool, Cool, Cool. Each week, I give you a glimpse into what I think is cool and chat with a ton of people that are definitely cool. No topic is off bounds unless, I guess, it's not cool. Welcome to Cool, Cool, Cool.
Now we're live.
Hi, we have microphones.
Don't we look like journalists? We're in a war-torn area with microphones.
Yeah, we really do. We look like we're in a war-torn area. If anybody's listening to this, we're actually in a villa at the Sunset Marquis Hotel, which is quite nice.
Having lovely margaritas, just living our best life.
Having margaritas before our dinner party that we're hosting tonight.
Which is really exciting. On Juneteenth. Which is hilarious for a variety of reasons, but also amazing because I was celebrating people of color today and not working. So now we're together.
That's great. And here we are.
Here we are. And actually, you know what's funny about the Sunset Marquis is they couldn't have any other publicist except for you, because there's nobody that is so embedded in rock and roll and actually what rock and roll is and what it should be than you.
Thank you. That just means I grew up in the 80s.
That's not true. I just mean every time I come and see you here, you're like, oh, like Sex Pistols. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, there's
always
always somebody here. We have a lot of celebrities that come to this hotel. A lot of rockers.
Why do you think even though it's a different era, they just feel safer? Or is it the vibe?
It's kind of a sanctuary, and it's a place like, I mean, some of the other hotels are stricter. Like Beverly Hills is like very buttoned up, and the Bel Air is very like far. And it's also much more.
Newsflash, I don't like the Beverly Hills Hotel. I don't even care. I'll say it right now. I have had so many issues with staff there.
Really?
I don't think the new rooms are great.
I've never stayed there.
I have. And I'm like, whatever about it.
I've had a couple good free dinners from lawyers and agents at the Polo Bar, though.
Yeah, I'm not mad at a $40 hot dog. Like, give me
$40. What about Erewhon? That's getting really crazy now. Did you see they're selling fruit? I saw it on Instagram for a plastic tub of like Costco fruit that you would get. I've never been to a Costco, but like if I did,
it's crazy. I went for the first time recently.
You have to get a membership fee. I'm not
going to
pay.
Skip it. It's crazy.
I don't think it's for me.
It's not for you. Because let me tell you, when I went in there, I kept being like, I'm scared. I'm feeling awkward. Get me out of here. Why are there just everything's big? Why are there T-shirts next to Cheez-Its?
Okay, I do the same type of thing. At Home Depot, the paint buckets are not near the paint.
Yeah, they're not.
That's a really strange thing because usually when you buy paint, you want a paint bucket. And then I had like a little Spectrum nervous breakdown in Home Depot. And I was with my boyfriend who was at the time Mexican, Hopi, Indian, and Sicilian. And
Amazing.
he was like, we were there and I was like, I can't believe that the paint buckets aren't near the paint. This doesn't make any sense. Then he goes, yo, baby, you're at Home Depot.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Because this is not Paris Fashion Week.
Yeah, fair enough. Nothing actually makes
and the worst place of all is Walmart. I mean, I
never been to one.
Oh God, don't go. Except Halloween's kind of fun because you can try on all the masks and then run around like a spooky person in the aisles. Like it's kind of fun. Ava was embarrassed when I did it, but no, it's sad. It's a sad little biosphere of like sadness.
Yeah, I think it's off brand for me. I'm a city kid. We didn't have those in the city.
I know, but then people can hear it and then they go, well, that's a really snobby thing to say. But I think that you end up spending way more money in those stores than you need to. And that's the thing that like breaks my heart about American consumers, because I'm from Syracuse, I grew up in a family with like, very like, I don't even know if it would be lower middle class or just middle class. It was like, one car, one bathroom. I shared a bedroom with my sister, like 3 bedrooms, 5 people, and, it could seem like kind of like snotty thing to say to be like against Walmart. But I just kind of feel like growing up in Syracuse, like people would go to the mall and they would consume and they would buy a lot of shit. And they walk out and they've spent like $600 or $700, right? You go to Target, you go to Gap, you go wherever, Macy's, and you walk out the door and you're like $600. I'd rather just take that $600 and like take 4 people to the Ivy for a great night and like
Fair enough.
forget about the welcome mat for your front door made out of plastic. Like, who needs that? Like,
nobody needs that.
I just think it's sad.
Where it says
like, there's
live, life, love.
smarter ways to shop. Like, even if you don't have a lot of money, you know?
Well, Erewhon's tricky. So we're getting an Erewhon in Glendale.
Oh.
Which is the big news.
Which is nowhere spelled backward. I don't know if people realize that Erewhon is nowhere spelled backward.
It's completely insane. They're obnoxious. There are a few things that I love, but I also am a farmer's market kind of. I mean, we've talked about this.
But I'm a farmer's market, but they're expensive.
I know.
You have to be rich to go to a farmer's market. It's not like you can go there and get a good deal on food. Like, eggs in the farmer's market in upstate New York are like $6 a dozen. Like, you can go to Walmart and get 24 eggs for, I don't know, $1.99. I mean,
that's crazy. I don't know if they're that cheap, but yes. I mean, it is
$2.99. I mean, you know, a little, it's expensive to shop at a farmer's market.
Oh, no. Trust me, I know. I mean, I'm strategic about it, but it does last longer, the food.
It does?
I think. Okay. But yes, I think. Yes, so Erewhon, it's definitely, it'll be interesting to see. I thought my pride flag in Glendale was the biggest uproar, but now it's Erewhon.
It's Erewhon in Glendale. It's a perfect place for Erewhon, actually.
Well, it's going to service like Highland Park, Atwater, Eagle Rock. It actually is perfect.
It's a wealthy neighborhood.
Not all of it. It's big. Glendale has 200,000 people.
I used to live in Silver Lake. I know where Atwater is. It's right near Route 5. I had to give away puppies once on that corner.
Why'd you give away puppies?
Because my dog got pregnant by her cousin.
Do you think it works the same way as like humans with animals and dog? Like, is it fine that
I've
it was
never
her cousin?
really thought about incest, dog incest.
I'm just saying.
I've never really thought about it.
I mean, it's kind of wild.
It's kind of creepy, but I don't think it does because like dog breeders, like my huskies, like one's father is the other one's grandfather.
Okay, so maybe it's all
Mr. Morpheus was the dog that I'm talking about. The husky. You know, huskies never have normal names. I don't know if you know that. They're always called like Bolt or
Shadow,
like Mojo, Kojo.
What
Kaya,
are yours?
Magic and Mata.
Yeah, that tracks.
Mata means mother in Sanskrit, but I didn't know it. But it also means kill in Spanish, and it means crazy in Italian, and she is all of those things.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
And Kismet.
Yeah, her name's Mata.
I feel like people come up to you, feel very connected to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I think people, you know, you've been in the zeitgeist and you've never stopped for a very long time. Yeah. And I think that it must be energetically sometimes draining to have so many people want to meet you or share with you or talk to you.
Well, first of all, I don't consider myself like that, really. I mean,
I know you don't because I know you, but I also, you are really, a lot of people don't get it and feel it, and I feel like you feel things and you see things.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm out there for the girls and the gays. You know, that's my thing. Like, I think that sexism is really a horrible disease in this planet, and that's like, you know, I really look out for young women, and I really look out for all different types of like what would be considered like freaks or the super creative, the weird, gay people and chicks. Like, that's what I'm really concerned about, you know? I mean, it's like, I feel like I didn't really know what I was doing, but like as the years and the decades kind of went on, I realized like that I had this fearlessness about me, and I'm also really connected to the Divine Mother. Like, I really love her in all her forms. You know that. Like, I'm an India girl, Jamaica girl. Like, I'm always doing tantra and spells and like all of this stuff and like really connecting with the divine feminine, and feel that it really needs to be brought back. And like monotheism totally destroyed that. You know, I mean, in Christianity, we get married. She doesn't get to get fucked. She gets pregnant. All girls get kicked out. I mean, the Bible says they don't even have the right really to speak. I mean, still, it's the same book that it's always been. And
yeah, it's crazy.
You know, you have the Quran, which is basically just eliminated the feminine. And then you have Judaism where you get Lilith, you know, and it's just the vilification of the divine feminine since the branding and the ownership of institutions of God has become a really dangerous thing to women. And it's like, you know, people call me and say like, well, aren't you going to post for International Women's Day? And I'm like, why fucking should I? Like, there is...
Who's asking you to post
a lot of people.
Wow,
like,
that's
Instagram
wild to me.
Stuff are like, aren't you going to post? And it's like, for what? Where do women have equality?
That's crazy.
They don't. I'll fucking post on International Women's Day, the day that we're equal. But if they think that posting about International Women's Day is going to get you to stop getting raped in a Target parking lot, or you know, sexually assaulted, or paid less money, or physically assaulted in a relationship, like whatever the things are that women go through, which is a really intense thing. Like people don't really realize the messaging that we're getting. And so I think that my like popularity is because like I'm a bad girl, you know, like I'm a rule breaker, I'm a tell it like it is kind of girl. And I think that other women want to be like that, but they're afraid.
Yeah.
And so I think when I do it, it's like I'm doing it for them too. And they want to tell me like, hey, that was really cool, or thank you, or oh my God, that was really funny, or wow, you like, this was awesome. Like, so that's what I think they're connecting with. And they don't get to see it. Like, they're not going to see it on Roni. They're not going to see it. You know, it's all about women with hair extensions, like getting blackout drunk and beating each other up. And people think that's fun to watch.
Which is wild.
It is wild.
It's wild. And it's gotten so spiteful and dark and angry. And it's everything that I hated about being forced to go to school.
Yeah.
Like I went to Common of the Sacred Heart, just like Paris.
Oh, God.
Do you die?
Yeah, that's cool. It turns out the best bad girls.
Like literally.
If you want a bad girl, like send her to Catholic school. That's what I have
or
to
convent.
say.
Leah went to convent.
Yeah,
like we all go to
yeah.
convent. And
I love Leah.
I know. So do I.
Shout out to Leah McSweeney. We love you.
We do love you. All the things I hated about going to school are now popularized on reality TV. But you went on reality TV, one as yourself and showing people's revolution and your own.
Givingzerofucks.com.
Givingzerofucks.com. Telling people to cry outside, which I love because
That is bad now, though. When you look at the open for Kell on Earth, and it's like, it's kind of like how I felt when I rewatched Truth or Dare during COVID. Because like Donna's like talking to her employees and she's like, do you guys want to take a bath with me? And I'm like, oh my God, this is so 80s. And then I watched the opening of Kell on Earth. It's like, we might say mean things to you, get over it. Like, and I was like, now that I watch it, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, I was running like a serious, like, fucking organization. I think when I look at some of that, it was like, I was really taking that shit very seriously. Like,
I don't know. I mean, and I hear you, and I'm sure we've all changed and evolved in time, whatever things are different. I mean, listen, I look at some of the young people that I work with, and I'm like, dude, I used to intern at record labels. You have no clue the sexual harassment and things that people, I mean, you know,
business. I know,
you know,
about it. Yeah.
I mean, and that was a major record label. And I would basically go on drug runs, make score coke,
book a girlfriend,
yep,
for dinner,
everything,
pick up clothes,
score, do all the scores, reservations,
buy jewelry.
Yeah. Have the guys ask me to stay late. I like all the weird, and I'm not saying that people should go through that. I don't think that they should. And I'm glad that there's a reckoning. But there's also, I think, something to be said for really doing hard work and having hard conversations and not being so precious. And so I think there are elements of, you know, telling people like, go cry outside that, I don't know, like, yeah, go cry outside.
Like, you just made a $200,000 mistake and now you're going to sit and cry about it. Like, I should be the one crying. Like, you just cost me $250,000. Like, no, you're going to disrupt the staff on top of it. It's like, first of all, you suck and you made a horrible mistake. Now you're going to cry and disrupt the whole team who doesn't really want to be affected by this. They just want to get their job done and keep moving. Now the whole office has to stop. No, like, pick it up, go outside. Like, I don't want to fucking hear it.
But what's wrong? I just don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I don't think there's anything wrong. I mean, I wrote a book called that.
I know.
I stand behind it. I think it's just like, stop being a baby. Like, get over it and move on. Like, we all want to cry, but like, just get your work done. Like, pick your shit up and let's keep going. Or I could fire you. Like, which do you prefer?
Yeah.
Either sit in the pain and the shame of the fucking neglectful mistake that you just made and figure out how not to do it again and let's move on. And, you know, and if you can't and you're going to be all upset and like chafed about it, then this isn't the right place for you to be.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, it's media, it's fast, it's communications, it's not a joke.
What did you think about when Instagram first started to take a stronghold on the fashion and kind of
always
cultural?
Early. Like when Twitter first came out, everybody in my staff mocked me out. I was on Twitter. I was like a heavy Twitter person, which is now, what is it called? It has a new name.
X.
Oh, X, right. I don't fuck with it. Or I go on once in a while.
I don't want to lose all this.
I don't fuck with X. I was one of the first people on Twitter. I like, not in the world, but like in my office, like everybody thought it was stupid and it was like a joke. And part of that was because they were younger, and I don't think a lot of the kids like intellect for communication, like at those levels, like it wasn't a strength. Where TikTok, you just have to do a stupid dance and like anybody could do it. But like Twitter, you should have like something to say. But they would always mock me out like, oh God, she's on Twitter again. Oh God, she's on Twitter. And then Instagram came out, and I mean, everything. I mean, the internet has been full of false promises, right? It's just full of false promises. Like, do you remember like the MacBook commercials at the beginning when they came out? They were like 2 Buddhist monks climbing up like the Himalayas in like Uttar Pradesh or something, and they have their like MacBook in their hands, and they're going up, and there's like a sunset or a sunrise, and it was like, just think, you can communicate from anywhere. Like, and it was supposed to be this thing that gave us all this personal time, because everything, like, I mean, when I started in PR, this is a true fucking story. You can ask Jason Weinberg, who owns Untitled This, because Jason and I had our first company together. That was called Cutrone Weinberg. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I do.
Okay. And then that became Untitled and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, at the beginning of doing PR, we would have to walk around with a bag full of rolls of quarters, because when we were doing PR, the phone card,
have to call.
The phone card hadn't even been invented yet. Okay, there wasn't even. Okay, so what happened was there were payphones. Okay, so let's say you have to call Los Angeles and you're out. There weren't cell phones. You have to go to a cell phone and you dial, 310-657-1333, number for the Sunset Rookie. You just dial that number. And it goes, please deposit $4.10 for the first 5 minutes. And so you'd have to feed the phone.
That's crazy.
Okay, so our redemption came with the invention of a phone card. AT&T created a phone card. It was like a credit card. And you could use the phone card in the phone booth or while making another call and just enter in your phone card. Okay. And there was 411. You got everybody's phone number by looking it up in a phone book or calling 411.
By the way, the fact that kids don't know about 411 or phone books, I mean, the way that I lived my life via a phone book is just, like how, it's mind-boggling to me.
Here's another thing. Everyone at that time was dying of AIDS. And so like our phone books would have, like we were the first generation that really lost so many young people. And like, you would just have all your friends' names crossed out.
Which is like the saddest,
Very
especially
sad.
in fashion.
Yeah, especially in fashion. And then, so then it was the phone card. And then it was, we had electric typewriters with whiteout, but then the fax machine came along. And that was a saving grace for PR people. We could handwrite something and just fax it through. And at my first office, we were too cheap to get real phone lines. We couldn't afford it. So we had 2 phone numbers. But the third one would roll onto the fax machine. So Jason and I would be like talking to Eartha Kitt, like for real. And we'd be like talking to Eartha Kitt, and all of a sudden be like,
I have a good one. My dad got a fax machine in his office, and at the time he was doing something in Hawaii, and so he was gone for a long time. And we were like, what is this machine? I mean, my mom worked there. It was a family business. So everybody worked there. And I go, what is this machine? And my brother and I are only 16 months apart. So just
me too.
Chaos. And I said, well, what is this? And my mom said, it's something where we can send daddy something all the time. So we decided to put our goldfish in the fax machine.
God.
And remember how big they used to be?
Oh my God.
We just destroyed.
Like a Humvee.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like
did they die or did they live?
Well, yeah, they died. The whole machine died. It was just complete. Those like things that are seared in your memory where you're like, oh shit, I really fucked up. That, and also drawing all over the roof of my mother's white interior, which is her fault, interior Volvo.
Oh my
with
God.
pens. Yeah, just like terrible shit.
It's horrible to be a parent sometimes.
I mean, I can't even.
You take a lot of abuse.
It's true. But yeah, so I guess by the time the internet
when,
or email.
So then computers, getting back to it, came out, and this is a funny story. So the Blueberry Macs, do you remember those?
Of course.
Okay, well that's what happened when Giuliani was mayor, and we had a hurricane in the middle of New York City, and it was Fashion Week. And it was a total blackout, and we lost everything. And so I was like, what are we going to do? And our office was in Tribeca at the time, and we covered up those big Blueberry Macs in garbage bags, and we had to walk in a hurricane to a Staples on like 42nd Street.
That's insane.
I had to cancel a bunch of shows that season. Everything bad happens during 9/11 happened during Fashion Week. There's always something that goes on. I mean, not lately, thank God.
Yeah, knock
on wood.
Whatever. I think this is wood. Yeah, that's true. Well, because it's September. Well, but there's also spring. But yes, it does.
The September shows particularly are spooky.
It's back to school. Nobody wants to be there.
No one wants to be there.
How did you get linked up with Vivienne Westwood?
I got hooked up with Vivienne. How did I? Oh, through a guy named Mark Paulman, who was running her New York store, and she was looking for PR in the US. And he recommended us. And I met Vivienne, and yeah, I worked with her forever.
I mean, completely iconic. I also think it's really interesting how her, I mean, just again, to use iconic, but really signature bodice, that beautiful
her corsetry, the draping,
but has now been, it's like almost very zeitgeisting wedding. Have you kind of noticed that? It's like,
well, I introduced Dita Von Teese to Vivienne, and she made Dita's wedding dress in
that's wild
wedding for Manson. Remember the roof caved in?
Of course.
All of that. That was like demonic or something.
I actually, we were going to go do that together when you asked me to go to Vegas and I couldn't go.
Oh, go see Dita.
I'm dead. I'm dying.
She was great. She was great.
She is so beautiful and just like, thank God people like Dita still exist.
I know, she's so nice and quiet.
Yeah, she's lovely and teeny.
Very small.
I mean, teeny tiny.
I worked with her a lot because I did Agent Provocateur. Speak of children. Hi, Eve, I'm doing a podcast interview. I have to call you back. All right, love you.
She just graduated, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
That's exciting.
Tuition free.
Woo-hoo!
I know, I'm so happy.
Time to go wild.
I'm really happy not to be paying college tuition anymore or private school.
I mean, that's amazing that you did do that, though.
It was my gift to her.
That's a huge gift.
Well, I always felt like I went to public school, and I always kind of felt like, I always felt different than people who went to private school. I always felt like they had a better education than me.
I went to both. I've been to public and private. I've been to all kinds, and I think it's just more attention.
Yeah, I mean, attention's a good thing when you're growing up. It's good to have eyes on the prize. You know what I mean? I just felt like that was the best thing I could do for her is to love her, obviously, and to do all these things, but to also give her a great education.
Well, it's huge.
I worked really hard for that, I sacrificed a lot.
Yeah, I bet.
I think that people think I have so much money all the time, and I don't. I don't know if it's because of the lifestyle that I live and how it looks from the outside, but like, I'm a single mom.
Yeah.
I'm the only person to have sex with someone from Monaco and not get child support.
Yeah, what the fuck is that all about?
You know what? He was like, he's from Italy, so if it sounds like I'm not doing a Monaco accent, there's a reason. He'd be like, what are you going to do? Are you going to take me to court? And I was like, dude, you know what? You can go to the fucking court of karma. I have better things to do than take your fucking broke ass, right, to fucking court. Why? So you can see me and I can spend all my money on lawyers and you can get into this really big fight with me. I'm like at a peace out. Like, fuck yourself.
Yeah,
if you don't know what to do and you don't know how to handle yourself as a human being, you're not going to get that lesson from me. That's too loving. Yeah. I'm not going to teach you. I'm not going to co-parent with somebody who's incapable of co-parenting. Like, it's good for Gwyneth and Chris that they can do that and they're okay. We're having conscious uncoupling. That's great. A publicist and an Italian guy, I don't think conscious uncoupling is so easy. I just was like, no. So I supported her my whole life.
Which is a lot.
It's a lot.
Especially in all of this. But again, I just go back to like you being at the forefront of a lot of things that have become really embedded now in our culture, but you did it early. I mean, you had Kell on Earth, but that was really early. Like that kind of reality show doesn't exist anymore.
I think that show is like, as much as I did not like the show, which I really did not like it, and I did not like working with Bravo. I've been very
vocal
about that. On one level, it's like, okay, but like if you think about it, like The Hills, The City, and Kell on Earth were all shooting at the same time because Hills was going down, City was coming up, and I had Kell on Earth, and I had a book coming out, and I was running an office.
And being a mom.
And I was a mom. I also take care of my mom.
Yeah.
So like I support my family and my mom and like I just think like you have all of that stuff like going on at the same time. But if you look at the Hills footage, like People's Revolution looks one way. You look at Kell on Earth, it looks like the saddest pigeon coop that ever existed. And all of those things were real and frankly, even more intense. But I do feel like it was very real. It was like really grainy and gritty. But I just didn't really feel like the producers like, first of all, I had a title of executive producer, but that was like a mercy fuck title. Like, nobody took me seriously as a producer. Nobody wanted my input.
At Bravo, or did you have those on City?
All of the above. No, City and MTV was an amazing experience. Like Hills, it was like...
Was that Burnham? For who produced City and...
Adam Davila with Liz Gately and Tony DeSanto, who were the president and the vice president of MTV. And I was treated... like a queen. Like I just had such a great experience on MTV. And like even Van Toffler, who was the head of Viacom, like called me to his office and I was like, oh my God, I hope I'm not in trouble for anything. And he was like, we just love you here, Kelly. You're just so great. And I was just like paid really well and treated really well. And that was awesome. And then Bravo was a shit show. So like, for example, okay, the show's called Kell on Earth. My name's Kell, so it's my show, right? And I'm like an executive producer on the show. And I'm like, used to be a competitive figure skater. And I'm from the middle of nowhere. And I was like, listen, I think it would be really fun if we went up to Syracuse, where I'm from, and I ice skate and like do all my figure skating tricks.
It would be amazing.
It would be hysterical because nobody would ever expect me to be an ice skater because they think I'm like eating children somewhere or like doing spells on everybody. And this would be
doing witchcraft or whatever.
A really funny side of me to show. And I think it adds a little bit of balance for all this. Like, what the fuck? We don't know how to write a blah, blah, blah. This editor will never speak to you. Like, let's balance the show out. Like, let's show some variety. They didn't want any of that. So instead, like, their idea was to hire a straight guy because I wanted Douglas Keeve, who did the Isaac Mizrahi Unzipped. I thought he would be good. So I put his name in the ring. And instead, we get a showrunner from California who wears khakis. I'm not going to say his name. And he's not a bad person. His name's Billy Taylor, but I just don't think he was the right person to hire.
I love how you're like, I'm not going to say his name. And then
I mean, I'm going to try to give you my A game, Liz. I'm not going to like make people go to Google and look it up and just make it easy.
No, I appreciate that.
And so, you know, he didn't really know anything about fashion and he really didn't care. And so like we'd be in London producing like the 25th anniversary of the British Fashion Council. Like, that's a big deal.
Huge.
We're in London. Okay, Susie Mankus, super important writer.
Yeah.
Probably the most important. I mean, her, Terry, there's a few of them, Vanessa. But at the time, Vanessa wasn't really in the same position. And so
Susie's like
the queen. Okay?
Literally the queen.
She's the queen of journalism in that world. Okay, like I think Vanessa Friedman's an amazing writer too. But Susie was like, okay. So it's Susie Mankus. It's Jeremy Scott. It was the Flintstones collection, which is strange because Susie kind of has a Flintstone vibe.
100%. Okay, if you don't, by the way, listeners, if you don't know who that is, she's been in a few documentaries.
SUZYMENKES.
She is iconic.
She's very serious. Like,
very serious.
I'll tell you another Susie Mankus story after this one. Remind me to tell you about Kanye and Susie Mankus. But
oh God.
Oh, it was bad. Okay, but anyway, before that, so now this is another trick. We're in London doing this show. This crew from California is there, and the show ends, and it's time to do interviews backstage. So as soon as a fashion show ends, I have to run from the director's booth, which is usually out near the runway, and zip back through these huge, massive crowds and get backstage to stand next to the designer so we can start the interviews. Okay, here's Susie Mankus, Jeremy Scott, myself. This is it. Susie's like, hello, Jeremy. And then all of a sudden, my crew from Kell on Earth comes in. Do you like Kelly Cutrone? This is with a microphone in Susie Mankus's face, like in slow motion. This is like my Linda Hamilton moment. I'm like, what the fuck? Stop. Don't do it, Martha. And I go to like get them to stop and it's too late. And so they're like, and they chew gum and they wear khakis. Okay. And they're like, do you like Kelly Cutrone? Do you think she's a good publicist? I like grabbed the guy by the back of his puffer. I was like, yo, what the fuck? What the fuck are you thinking? This is Susie Mankis. And, you know, she gets very nervous. She's like, I don't have to do it now if it's a problem.
Oh, my
you know,
God.
And you're like, no, I'm not going to lose the International Herald Tribune because this doofus from San Jose doesn't fucking know what's up. Like, these people are ruining my career. It's like a joke. It's bad enough I'm doing reality TV and I'm trying to push boundaries and I'm trying to get messages out there in different ways. Like, my whole thing is about changing the system. You know, my whole thing is about opening up communications in a different way and doing things differently. I'm not a cookie cutter publicist. So I've taken a lot of risks over the years with myself, with my name, with my business.
Yeah.
With who and defining myself too. Like, no, I'm not that girl. Like, no, I'm never going to be the girl with a blonde bob and a Chanel jacket that's going to come in and say, hello, my name's Miranda. I'm quite happy to have you. If you turn to page 38 of the flow chart, you will clearly see where the return on investment is going to maximize and yield quite a great result. Like, that's not what I'm selling. Like, people either hire me because they're risk takers, they fucking know what's up, they want to do something different, or they've tried everybody else and they still can't get it. Like, when Valentino hired me, they didn't hire me because I was like this Italian socialite who was going to bring, like, you know, 50 people to the Villa Borghese for Todd's. Like, it's just, none of that is going to be, I don't know why I said for Todd's because it would be a Valentino event. You see, I'm like not even good at pitching this on a podcast.
I love
but
it.
They wouldn't have me. Like, they did it because they knew they needed to be cool and that they didn't have their, you know, finger on the pulse of that at the time. So, like, for Valentino, my response was I hired Dash Note in Iraq, who were a bunch of coke-taking artist kids who Iraq was spelled I-R-A-C-K. I-R-A-K, I think was how it's spelled. But Iraq was, they racked, meaning they went into stores and they stole stuff from Valentino.
Literally.
And resold it on the streets. And Dash became a famous artist and then he OD'd. But anyway, I had a whole graffiti crew in my office doing these rubber invitations. Guy Trebay wrote about it for the New York Times. And it was like, I'll never forget, it was like Malcolm Forbes, Kathy Hilton, but like sitting at a table with total degenerate skaters. And everybody had a great night. And that's what used to make New York great.
That is what used to make New York great. I mean, and sitting there and having that weird vibe, but everyone was great in what they did.
Yeah, you had to be a jester.
Yeah.
Like anybody, it didn't matter where you were from. It didn't matter how much money you have. It didn't matter whose dick you sucked. It was just like, do you have something to offer at the table? Whether you were like Antonio Lopez or a Vivienne Westwood or just a young, cool designer or anybody that was like a freak or a communicator or had something to bring to the table was always welcome on the scene in New York. And that's what made it fun.
Do you feel pressure now from some clients to like look at how many Instagram followers and blah, blah, blah they have? Or do you don't give a shit about that?
Well, Instagram followers, we live in such a fake ass world. I'm always about quality versus quantity. I'd rather have like 5 amazing friends than 50 fuck off friends.
Same with me. I've been telling my clients for years. And when I worked in the YouTube space early days and these kids were just making millions but it was so fickle and I didn't think that they were actually influencing culture at all.
Yeah, I don't think most of them are worthy of the title of influencer. Oh yeah, you want to talk about my vape?
No.
How pathetic is that?
I'm not. I was trying to help you. I was seeing that you were looking at I didn't know. I was trying to hold it.
First of all, it's so stupid to be my age and have a vape. Okay, I have a vape because I was like...
I just want to say for the record, I said nothing. I just handed it to you.
No, because you knew I was looking for my vape.
I did.
The point about the vape thing is I don't smoke. Well, I do now. But I haven't smoked in like 15 years.
Yeah, I don't even remember you smoking.
I don't smoke. And then I was on this photo shoot with a client and they were all vaping. And I was like,
you got to stop the vape.
I was like, whoa, what is this
popcorn
about?
lung.
Is that what happens?
Mm-hmm.
What does popcorn lung mean?
Where you get fucking weird holes in your lungs.
Oh, that's bad. How long does it take to happen?
I can look it up.
Send me a link.
I will send you a link. But yeah, I think quality versus quantity is a huge thing. I got to be honest with you. In work or in personal, when I do these events and these quote influencers come, the vibe is not vibing.
Okay, because they're stupid.
No, I know, but like
Are you allowed to say that someone's stupid? Is that... I'm just speaking in general. It's just like...
I'm happy to say that people are stupid. I'm saying...
I don't really want to meet or have in my front row. I'm just going to be honest. a girl, a young woman whose claim to fame is she's a lip gloss expert. That has no bearing on my life on any level. It's not going to help my clients of like, hi, I'm getting ready for the blah, blah, blah. And I'm using Charlotte Tilbury. It's like, shut up.
Can I tell you though, you know who I think is amazing on the internet because they don't realize it is Charlotte Tilbury herself.
Oh, I have never followed her.
She is hilarious. They took her off and started putting influencers, but they can't do that. She is so unhinged. Okay, so let's just say this
right now. This is a call out to Charlotte Tilbury to get your Instagram back.
Oh my God, get your Instagram back. Please be my friend. Yeah. I want to go to
You could be friends with her because my friend Serena Reese, who's Vivienne Westwood's, I did Agent Provocateur. So I had Vivienne. And then to answer that question, so I started working with Vivienne, but then I turned Vivienne on to Leonard Peltier.
Oh.
Because I lived with John Trudell, who was the president of the American Indian movement. And then Vivienne got on this Free Leonard Peltier campaign, which she was very serious. She was a huge advocate, and people who are listening to this, I don't know if they care, but if you do, I mean, I do. She was a huge advocate for Native American rights and really, highly opposed to the fact that Leonard Peltier was imprisoned and had been set up. And she really spent a lot of time. Like I did a fashion show with her in Austria, in Vienna.
That's great.
We were in Vienna doing this AIDS benefit called Life Ball, and Sharon Stone was there. And I know Sharon. And she was like, Kelly, you know her. And I was like, yeah, I do. She's like, wait, she needs to sign the petition.
I'm dead.
So she would go around with this petition in her bag. And anytime she saw somebody famous, she would go up and she would say, hi, I'm Vivienne Westwood. Do you know Leonard Peltier's, been in prison and he needs to be released. He's in Leavenworth and it's totally shit. And I need your signature here because we need to. And Sharon would like look at me and I'd be like, just sign it. Like Calvin Klein, I'm like, just sign it.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Sign the fucking petition.
You're like, please just sign this.
She's a real advocate. Like she was an anti-fracking person. Like she was just super great. So she introduced me to Serena. And that's how when Agent Provocateur came to America, I worked with them for
favorite bathing suit I've ever bought.
15 years, I guess.
$400 bathing suit. It's the most beautiful bathing suit. They don't make them like this anymore. Agent Provocateur has gone a little bit of a different way.
Well, they sold. It's not the same company anymore.
But I probably bought this bathing suit 7-8 years ago. It is the most beautiful romantic bathing. It's like dark cranberry with like it is so beautiful.
It sounds sexy.
It is so sexy. I've worn it with with jeans.
Yeah.
Anyway.
With like a low slung wide leg jean.
100%.
Do you think we should order a margarita?
Yeah. Call 911.
I know. Let me limp. Hold on.
No, don't hear.
No, you feel sorry for me.
I do feel sorry for you. I love this. One margarita.
Hello? Oh, hi. It's Kelly Cutrone in Villa 72.
All right.
Thank you. I'd like 2 margaritas, please. You want salt?
No.
No salt.
2 margaritas, no salt?
Yes. You want something to eat?
No.
How about guacamole?
Sure.
And an order of guacamole, please. You only live once. YOLO. Thank you.
And she wonders why she was on reality television. I'm dead.
Well, the good news is, guys, this is your chance to just get up and make yourself a margarita. Do we have a tequila sponsor for the podcast?
You know what? I've been looking for
Well, I think there's this new company in Montauk that might sponsor you.
Great.
They're a Montauk tequila company.
Well, listen, you live on your farm. Do you know that I counted?
On my farm. I have, yes.
Well, I counted it because I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a crazy gardener.
Oh, I have poison ivy.
No, why?
Look, it's the end of it.
Fuck, I wish you had told me I have cream.
Did you see my hands? Do I look like I've been shooting dope?
I'm dead.
I have to host a dinner party. I look like I've been shooting heroin. This is a poison ivy streak. This is
from your farm or from your house?
I went out gardening with Anna Delvey.
I mean, first of all, I haven't even gotten there yet.
Fuck the simple life. We're like on another level.
But would you be allowed to film that, or it probably wouldn't?
Oh, yes, we're allowed to film. Yes, we are filming my fake talk show. It's a fake show. It's not real. No one sees it. We don't have many viewers, but we take it very seriously.
It's truly my favorit thing.
Thank you. Everyone laughed at me for years. I've had this idea for years. I can show you like videos of Kelly Osbourne, doing songs. We called it Sing It Bitch, where I would play a song and she would have to like sing the lyric song. And if she didn't know it, she'd get canceled.
But also, but you're going to have to release the fake talk show with no listeners. Or just
we are going to release it. It's going to be streaming somewhere.
Streaming in a home near you?
Maybe. Maybe not.
How did you meet Anna Delvey?
Okay, so this is a funny story.
Because I would just like to say that there is a podcaster named Jackie Schimmel who I'm obsessed with. I don't know if you know her.
No.
She bought an Anna Delvey
artwork
drawing, and I am so jealous. And I'm like,
I could probably get you a free one.
Thank you. I would love one.
Okay, well, let me put that on my list. I would like to give that to you as a thank you. And maybe I'll call Anna right now.
Call Anna and see if she'll do it.
I like to do things in real time because
I love it too.
We do that. I would also like to tell you my favorite Instagram.
Oh yeah, what is it?
I'm going to tell it to you. Do you know I'm like on the spectrum, right?
No.
Figured that out. Oh, look, it came right up.
Wait, what is this?
This is it. I want everybody to follow this guy. His name is Dan Salinger. And the Instagram is DSALNORCAL. So D Sal NorCal, because he lives in Northern California.
Well, that's my guy then.
Okay, but he is living with his his father is living with him.
But how did you find this guy?
I don't know.
D Sal.
But
does he know that the iconic Sal NorCal followed by Kelly Cutrone?
Okay.
260. But this is my point.
No, he really does. Okay, listen, this guy is real. Here he is.
Son, husband, father, and animal. I like that he's an animal lover.
Okay, wait, though. This guy has dementia. He's 92. It's his father.
Oh,
his dad. And he never knows where he is. Okay.
Willie Mays. I mean, I love this. Okay, so this is who you love.
But this guy, like, now he's like starting to like do like newscasts and stuff.
Nobody cares about.
But yeah, like he's like talking about Willie Mays. But his dad.
You don't have a license anymore. They took your license.
They didn't take my license away.
They did.
I got a license.
You don't have a valid license. But what? You don't have to worry. You live with me.
I know. I'm not worried about it, but why don't they?
Because you're 91 years old.
He's 92 now.
And I can't drive at that age.
They took it. So there's not much we can do.
They took it.
Yeah, they took it.
That's all I wanted to know.
All right.
But sometimes, like, he doesn't.
Okay.
He rips off all his bandages.
Want to eat a little bit.
Yeah, she's. Hey, good morning, everybody.
Okay, that's like his hospital.
Right now, we're going anywhere?
Well, we just got back from lunch. You ate the biggest lunch I've ever seen you eat at the Olive Garden.
Where do we eat?
The Olive Garden.
He doesn't know where he is.
So this is what you love.
Yes, I love it. I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with it on a lot of levels.
Okay.
One, in a weird way, dementia's like living with a toddler or a blackout drinker. Right?
Yes, totally.
So it's really weird when somebody's in their body and they don't know what's happening. Like they don't know their name. They don't know where they are. Like they're confused. It's just a really strange thing. But then, so you have that weirdness of like, wow, what is it like to get old? Right? Because people like push all the old people away. Like we never see them. Like, you know, they're not allowed to go anywhere. They don't have any rights. And these are, every individual has been like a really, you know, they have a history. A lot of them have children. They've raised families. They've been professionals. They've had careers. And then poof, all of a sudden, and you can probably experience this as a woman, like as you get older, like your value starts to go down because it's based on reproduction and all of this other shit. So, but by the time you get really old, like you get put away. Like everybody gets put away. So we don't really get any real role modeling besides inside our own families about how to deal with the elderly. And we're all going to be elderly. So one, it's just fascinating, like dementia. Secondly, it's also really beautiful to watch a child take care of their parent. And that is something really, really touching. Like that this guy was a lawyer, you know, he, I guess, retired and he takes care of his dad. He lives with his wife and his dad wakes up and he doesn't even know, like he thinks that he's his brother Mark, or he thinks, but he's like every day, like super focused on just making sure that his dad gets really good care. And, you know, that's also exhausting, you know, like
very exhausting,
a family member. But I think it's just, it's great. It's like the Waltons. It's like a TV show. I mean, I just like to watch it because I think there's a lot of different elements, you know, and then at a point I was like, are you exploiting him? Like, is this guy getting exploited? Because now they make T-shirts that they have him wear, which I think is a little strange, but it'll say like, where are my car keys? And like the other thing is this guy used to be a podiatrist and he only ever has $20. So they always keep $20 in his wallet. But then he's like, but where's my house? And then
bless his heart.
And they're like, you have plenty of money in the bank, Dad. And he's like, I do. And they're like, yeah. And then one time he was looking for his second wife and he's like, where's Joanne? And then Dan Salinger was like, no, Joanne died 15 years ago of lung cancer. And he's like, no, that's not right. That can't be dead. And then he drops like the truth bomb. He goes, she was a lot younger than me. So it's also kind of like a telenovela.
And it's like funny.
And he has to like relearn everything every day. It's just crazy.
It almost has the same raw elements though of to go all the way back to the original reality TV. Whether it was Real World, your show. I mean, America's Next Top Model is banana cans. I was in...
You don't have to tell me.
I mean, I was in boarding school, so I wasn't really watching. And then I lived in New York and like...
You were already past that when I was on, right?
I was like partying. Do you know what I mean? Like I was in New York, like waitressing, like doing Parsons, doing the thing. So I kind of missed it, but I went back in the pandemic and watched it. And it's just... First of all, none of those girls, for the most part, and I'll say it, have the thing.
Well, that's the point of the show. Because I asked the same question. Because when I first got there, I was like, is this for real? Like, do we really think any of these people are going to be models? Like, do we really?
Because none of them really have worked out.
No. But
one on the Housewives.
What I was told by, I think Ken Mock, who I love, who's the executive producer of the show, he was like, this show is about taking someone who's average and turning them into a model. It's not about taking a model and make them look like a better model.
Got it.
And so like every show, you know, the casting people are not only looking at like how people look, they're looking at their backstory and they're looking like I think one of the most memorable girls, I mean, well, my first day at work, I believe, was with Louise. That's when she walked off the set. I think that was first day that I was there. She was
Were you like, what?
Did you ever see that episode?
Yes, of course.
I was in shock. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Like, you're on a fucking show to try to become America's Next Top Model.
I'll get it.
And it's margarita time, brought to you by, what's the name of the tequila company in Montauk?
I'll take it.
Oh, yeah, we got guacamole, too. Thank you so much. This is our little pregame. Liz and I are hosting a dinner party. So... yeah, she like told me she was going to punch me in the face, I think. I think I was physically threatened at my first day of work. But
and that was CW, wasn't it?
Yeah, great network to work for. Mark Pedowitz was the president.
I love CW. They've been a great client of mine. I've worked with them forever.
Great. Can't say enough nice. The only network I have anything bad to say anything about is
Bravo.
Every other TV experience I had has been a blessing.
Do you think that Bravo will change?
No.
And
what would they do? The whole world will be sad. People love to watch people beat each other up. It's crazy. Look at Cops. That lasted forever.
God. All right.
I want to do a new show.
Which is what?
What's the name of it? Squatter Squad. You know about these squatter people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm obsessed.
I read the New Yorker article about the one.
I called them. They never called me back because I was like, I want to produce a show with these guys. They're amazing. I mean, can you imagine you on vacation? I mean, think about this because this could happen to you. It's happening to people.
No, I know people that this has happened to where they literally. What's that noise? Does that sound like there's a TV? Is that the other room next door? By the way, you guys, this is chaos purely, but maybe it's the other room. Anyway, who cares? But I know someone who had an Airbnb. They rented out their house and the people wouldn't leave.
I know. You have no rights.
But that doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, crime doesn't make sense. But I can tell you one thing. These Squatter Squad guys are pretty hardcore. Are going to be a great show.
Why hasn't anybody done it?
They probably are right now because I called them and said, I called Squatter Squad. You can go on Instagram. It says Squatter Squad. Contact us. It has their phone number.
And they just didn't call Kelly Cutrone back?
I don't know. They don't know anything about me.
Yes, everyone knows something about you.
No, these are like straight guys in like San Diego or something. Like
that's actually completely where they are.
In their 50s. Like, and they just, drive around in a pickup truck. Straight guys who drive pickup trucks don't know who I am. They don't know. Unless their wives make them know.
That's fair. Just to circle back from our ADD-ness, how did you meet Anna Delvey?
Oh, so one day, I'm like eating on microphone.
Yeah, they'll probably hate that, but you can do whatever you want.
I'm so sorry. I apologize, but I haven't had any food, and it's going to be a long night.
Yeah. Real talk.
Anna Delvey. I came downstairs in my kitchen one day. My daughter Ava was there. She goes, "Oh my God, Mommy, you're on Call Her Daddy." I go, "Okay, for what?" And she goes, "Anna Delvey said that you're the reason that she moved to New York." And I was like, "No." Because we had watched, I mean, I didn't watch the whole series, but I knew about Inventing Anna.
So, and yeah, I guess she did go on Call Her Daddy.
Yeah, and they said, "How did you end up moving to New York?" And she said, "Well, I was watching MTV and there was a girl named Kelly Cutrone. And I said, yeah, I want to be in fashion PR. It looks cool. I moved to New York." So that happened. Then I went on Leah's podcast, and Anna had a party with Paper Magazine on her roof. I didn't know Anna then. And so as a joke, I said, "Fuck you, Anna Delvey," on Leah McSweeney's podcast.
That's right.
You said I was the reason that you moved to New York, and you didn't even invite me to your stupid party. But meanwhile, I was doing it as a tribute.
That's so Anna reached out to you.
Then she reached out to me. And then I met her. And then we produced a fashion show together on her roof,
which looked super fun.
It was very cool. I have a short little film about it on my Instagram if people are interested.
I've seen it.
Shao short. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
It's great.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about fashion generally? I mean, you've been doing fashion looks. You orchestrated an incredible look.
Yeah.
Well, no.
Oh, you mean for Anna?
And she looks great. But what do you think about fashion generally right now? Because I feel pretty terrible about it. I think Balenciaga is the most embarrassing thing. To think about what Balenciaga was, especially in the 1950s, for like,
it's a scandal.
It is a scandal. It is so
Listen,
horrible.
If you want to look like you wear Balenciaga, just go to an equestrian or a bondage store. It's much cheaper.
Or like Fashion Nova.
Yeah, Fashion Nova.
I mean,
Dolls Kill.
Exactly. I would even say Dolls Kill is cooler.
I like Dolls Kill. I mean, I like Shoddy, the owner, but I'm just saying, like, Balenciaga is like a joke.
But what do you think that is a product of?
Drugs.
Really?
Darkness.
Like Manjaro drugs? Or
No. I think that fashion is in a dark period. You know, if you really look at it, like, there's a lot of satanic imagery. There's like a lot of bondage. Obviously, corruption of youth. I mean, that's always something they love to sell, like Pretty Little Things, you know, like extreme sex has also been a common theme since, you know, I think the 80s for sure, since I've been in the business, like riffing on extreme bondage and stuff like that. You know the story about Hermes and the Collet de Chien?
No,
you know?
Tell me.
So that's the bracelet that has like the 4 pyramids with like the little loop. And they said that the story from Hermes is that like a very wealthy woman had it made to walk her dog. It was like a dog lead, but everybody in fashion, we always think, no, that chick was some rich girl in Paris who liked to get tied up in the 20s.
Dead. I'm dead. But I guess from...
It just looks so ugly. Like these micro mini bandeaus with like really low slung skirts with a thong coming up the back of your ass and like seeing your underwear.
But we like did all of that.
Like,
I guess
I just think it's like so gross. Like, I don't understand how that's fashion. Like, why not just be naked? I mean, you basically are. Like, poor Bianca Censori. What do you think that's about?
Dude. And what's so crazy is he was so judgmental about Kim and her body and showing it. And then he's done all of the things that he was so critical about because he Madonna whored them both, right? So he Madonna'd Kim Kardashian, said you can't do anything. And then he met this woman and just like completely...
I don't get it. I don't get him.
Well, did you see what he did in Malibu with the house? He gutted this gorgeous home and made it into nothing. I mean, he's mentally ill, right? So I'm
not a doctor, but he doesn't appear to be playing with a full jack.
Yeah, so
my opinion would be.
Yeah, but I think it is. I think you're right. I think it is this like strange, you know, high-low fashion is in such a weird place. It's so. I mean, it's reflective, obviously, of all of culture, which is the haves and the have-nots, and there's a huge chasm. It's either fast fashion or it's, you know, I wouldn't even say it's couture because I think couture is just like in a weird fucking...
That's a joke. Couture is a joke. It's a bridal business now.
It is a bridal business.
It's a bridal business now. But, you know, the thing that people don't really realize is that, like, the heavy logo things are made for people who aren't rich. Like, does everyone know this? So, like...
I would hope
let's just break this on your podcast, right?
Yeah, let's break it.
The vibe of the luxury brands is that their real clothing collections don't ever have their logos on them. Like Anna Wintour wears Prada every day. Do you ever see her with a triangle anywhere?
Well, no. And she wears Chanel almost to every single Met Gala and you would never know.
Right.
Like literally you would never know.
Correct. So the point is that all of those heavy logo things that all these people want to buy in Canal Street or like get their husbands or buy for themselves, I guess, or ask for a Christmas gift. They want this shit, but it's everybody in the fashion business says that's for the people who want to be identified.
I want the Lorno Piana. I want I want to be so rich that I have $7,000 sweatsuits.
You do?
I love it. I only wear cashmere sweaters. I like just plain shit.
Cashmere's nice.
I love cashmere.
I think
it's breathable.
Cashmere though.
Oh, really? Let's do it.
Yeah.
I buy a ton of J. Crew cashmere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fast-ish fashion, but it's great.
J. Crew, they look really cute this season. I took my daughter in there. It was okay.
It's I love, for me, jeans and a cashmere sweater and a really fucking sick pair of shoes.
You have good style.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah, you do.
Do I? Oh my God, I'm dying. I will die.
People are getting mad at me on the internet for wearing flip-flops, but I don't think they know that I'm having a hip replacement. So they're like, if she works in fashion, why is she wearing flip-flop? I'm like, these are $900 custom-made orthotic flip-flops. I have to wear them.
I'm not going to lie to you. I did talk to your other love, Taylor Strucker, today, and I was very offended by Brooke Shields wearing matching Crocs with her gown on the Tony's red carpet.
I know. She wasn't that wasn't her moment.
That was an embarrassing moment.
It was just the whole thing was not lining up for her.
Glasses don't line up. If she's it doesn't work.
It was not happening.
So you don't think reality TV can change? Would you,
I think
it
can change, but I just think it's a blood sport.
Okay.
Nothing good happens to people in reality TV. It's almost like a curse. It's like being born a Kennedy. I mean, think about it. Who's had a good experience? Everybody gets divorced. Everybody ends up in tax trouble. Some people go to prison. Some people have to leave the country.
But you're okay.
Yeah, but it's not that I haven't had bad times. I'm just saying, it's I also was a grown ass woman when I got onto it, and I also have my own company, and I wasn't. I think I knew what I was getting into a little more than most people do.
I feel fair enough.
And I felt like I could navigate it, which I did okay. But I got really fat. Remember? Really fat. And then God invented Ozempic. An awesome invention.
Literally the best.
Everybody in LA is on Ozempic.
Everyone in LA is on Ozempic. Everyone I know is on Ozempic.
The chef asked me if we were going to have enough food tonight. I said, don't worry, no one even eats in LA anymore. Leslie's like, we only have enough food for 55 people. I go, don't worry, everybody's eating a quarter of a portion.
I mean, I'm not on Ozempic. I'll eat.
I'm not on Ozempic right now. I will eat. But I've been on Ozempic and I loved it.
I loved it too. I was not on Ozempic because I can't afford it, but I went to Mexico and I went on Ribelsis, which is the original Ozempic, which they were prescribing to people 6-7 years ago. And it's
really?
The pill. And
well, my gynecologist told me I was fat, and he was like, "You need to lose weight." And I was like, "I didn't even know I gained weight. I saw it on the internet the first time. That's how busy I was. I didn't even realize I'd given up button pants for leggings. So that was something that happened to me from being on reality TV. I just got really fat.
Is there anyone that you met in reality TV that you're still really close with that you wouldn't have expected?
I mean, I met Caroline Manzo from Housewives of New Jersey, and I really like her a lot. I haven't seen her in a while, but I used to see her. She'd come over sometimes, and she told me if she ever died, she wanted me to marry her husband, Al. Wouldn't that be funny if I ended up on Housewives of New Jersey? There's our new mafia member in town.
I'm dead. That is hilarious.
It is really funny. So I like her. I like Ben Simone a lot. I love Leah. Patty Stanger. I like Patty so much. I think she's really nice. We all go see Amma together, Patty and I.
Who's Amma?
She's the hugging saint. The woman from India goes around hugging
everybody. Oh, yeah.
She's lovely. She's guru. Indian
I love that.
Guru. Who else have I met in realities? Oh, I met Camila Alvarez, who I just saw.
That's so random.
Yeah. Yeah. She was on a show on Bravo. We met on Upfronts. Matthew McConaughey came up to me. He's like, hey, how you doing? My wife really thinks you're cool. She'd like to meet you. And I was like, fuck yeah.
I'm dead.
Well, I knew the Hiltons, so I already knew them. I think, I love a little Kathy Hilton.
I love Kathy Hilton, but I'm also obsessed with Paris Hilton. I had an amazing...
I love Paris. I love her. I know her forever.
I
produced Nikki's fashion shows.
I mean, you'll like this. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, she had just come to the States. I was working at BeautyCon, and we had to do an event. Or actually, we didn't have to. Paris invited us into her home for an after party, and I went early So it was me, Paris, and her former fiance in her sick Soho apartment for hours and hours and hours, just the three of us, which is like, I mean, I was a stranger, and she couldn't have been lovelier.
She's the best.
She was the best. I am the biggest Paris. I think she's so smart. I love Paris Hilton. I love
Paris too. Shout out to Paris. We love you and your babies. The best thing that Paris did, one of the best things, is I was doing an Amelia fashion show. They were the kids that do the Kylie line now, but it was like their first show in New York, and Paris was in it. And so she was at my office, and my daughter was at boarding school, and she was having a fight with her boyfriend, or they broke up or something, and she was crying, and she was on, I hope she doesn't get mad at me for saying this, but anyway, she was crying on the phone, and it was on FaceTime, and she's like, "Mommy, I'm so sad." And Paris grabs the phone, she's like, "Hey, Ava."
I would die.
And she's like, "Don't be sad. You could do way better than that, dick." Like, she just like totally.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And then she gave Ava this really beautiful coat that she had on. And because Ava was like, "I like your coat." She goes, "I'm going to leave it here at your office. You can have it." Like, so
the best.
Nice. Yeah.
Literally, I've said it 1,000 times.
Great manners, really smart, lovely human being. Amazing.
I mean, also Nikki, a Rothschild.
I love Nikki.
It's so chic. I can't.
I love Nikki. I love her.
To wrap it up, even though I could sit here and talk to you for 1,000 hours, which we are going to now do.
We have a dinner to host. I don't even know what I'm wearing.
And we got to go put some place cards out. I got to put some makeup on.
Yeah.
What is something you feel like women, because when I talk about you to anyone, I'm like, Kelly is such a woman's woman. And that's how we started this podcast, because you've been so lovely to me. You've been so lovely.
I have a lot of respect for you, Liz.
Well, thank you.
You're a really amazing woman.
Oh my God, you're going to make me emotional.
You are. Like, you're the coolest.
No,
like,
you're the
everything
coolest.
I love in a girlfriend. Like, you're smart. You're
sweet.
beautiful. You're honest. You're loyal. You're generous. You're hardworking. You get the fucking job done. You have my ultimate respect.
Thank you.
Seriously.
But what do you think women can do for each other better?
I think women are pretty good to each other as a rule. I mean, I think women are pretty good to each other. I mean, like, there's nothing like good girlfriends. You know what I mean? I think if I'm guilty of anything, sometimes with my friends, it's like letting things slide for a while, which you just know that, like, they're a hot mess, and you're like, and then they call you up and they basically, I'm like, "I'm such a hot mess." And you're like, "It's going to be okay." Where sometimes you should be like, "Yo, bitch, you are a fucking hot mess right now." But we always want to support them in their, like, devastation moments. Like, no, it's going to be okay, But I have a rule that, like, I don't talk to my friends about things unless I want their help, because I think it's really, like, annoying to have the friends that call to complain about all these people or places or things. And then, like, you spend, let's say, 6 hours of your week just checking in on them, making sure they're okay. And they go back and they do the same thing again. So, like, if I'm dating somebody and, like, we're having, like, a big fight or something, like, I don't really tell my girlfriends about that.
Yeah.
I don't really talk about it, because it's just like, what's the point? Because then you're just teaching them to, like, hate the guy if you're going to stay with them, or the person that you're going to be with. Like, it's just so, but I think sometimes it's maybe we let them get away with too much for too long. Like, we just know, like, hey, like, or just taking the time to say, like, "Are you really okay? Because, we're really close, and I just noticed a difference in you." And it seems
I'm
like
guilty of that too. I sometimes will
over
say things.
medicating, or overworking, or doing too much, or scattered. I think, like, people don't really want to go deep with each other, and that's sad, because intimacy is a beautiful thing. It really is truly a beautiful thing if you can have intimacy and full disclosure of who you are and what's really going on. And I mean, I think women are, as a rule, like, I don't know, like, my girlfriends are the best. Like,
yeah,
I just think a woman will do anything for a person. Like, I think we're so full of compassion and intuition, and I think that it's a basic natural tendency of the feminine to be compassionate and loving, and also ruthless. I mean, the most dangerous being in a forest is a mother, and that's what people fucking forget. And that's the issue that I've had about how women, because it's like they say, like, oh, feminine is equated with skinny, pretty, quiet, and agreeable. Right. So when you're not that, people get really, really mad. And so you have all these women walking around not even knowing what it means to be feminine. Like, they don't know that their ruthlessness is actually feminine. You know?
That's real.
They don't know that, their sense of strategy and intuition gives them an advantage over other beings that don't have that, like we have that. And, you know, they're constantly like, just, I think, given just like shit role models of what feminine looks like. You want to see what feminine looks like? Go hang out with a fucking mother bear.
Yeah, that's
when
real.
I see what it looks like, go hang out with a mother wolf. Go hang out with a fucking mother. You know?
Yeah.
That's what feminine looks like. And it doesn't have to be that all day long. It can also be hot and sexy, right? Like feminine in the 70s was like, don't be sexy. Like, you know what I mean? Now that's changed. Like, I mean, you know, now you have like these image of like beautiful female lawyers that are going in there and kicking ass and like taking names and they're unapologetic and they're like, fuck off, spray you all up, bloop, 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 get their paycheck and split out. So it's a cool time to be a woman, but it's like, you know, we have to remember that every woman is suffering. Every fucking woman is suffering because we're not, what they're doing to Mother Earth is what they're doing to us. And you can just look around. Their thing is to destroy it and move on. And like Elon Musk's rocket was going through the sky of like LA last night and everybody was so excited about it. And I was like, why the fuck do you want to leave Earth? Why don't you just stop all this fucking shit and like make Earth better? Like, I think I'm going to be the publicist for Earth now. It's going to be
honestly,
my new client, Mother Earth. I go from motherfucker to Mother Earth.
I love it. I love it. Kelly, you are the best ever.
Mucho respecto.
Same.
I'm speaking.
Para Dios. Yo entiendo son todos. You want to talk in español?
La vida es un sueño.
Oh, bueno.
La verdad.
La verdad. Claro que sí.